So we have our new topic, which is the roots of complex numbers. So let z be equal to x plus yi, then find z raised to 1 over n. So remember na yung roots natin can be written as exponents din. So in finding the roots of complex numbers, parang susundin din natin yung de Moivre's theorem, okay? So so the first thing we should do is to convert our complex number in rectangular form to polar form first. So, for example, we are going to find z raised to 1 over n. We converted this rectangular form into polar form, and then we also raise it to 1 over n. Okay, so the formula we will follow will be z raised to 1 over n is equal to r raised to 1 over n angle theta plus 360k over n for degrees. And for radians naman, we have add lang natin si 2 pi k. Okay? So, theta is in degrees, r is in radians, and k is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 until n minus 1. Okay, so take note that when k is equal to 0, this is the first root or the principal root. Okay? And then if k is equal to 1, this is the second root. Sorry. This will be the second root, and then the third root. Sorry. This is the third root, C2. And then this is the fourth root, and so on. Okay? So, ganyan yung arrangement niya. This will be the principal root, the second root, third root, fourth root, and so on and so forth. So, take note lang when x is equal to 0, which is yung real part natin is equal to 0, theta will be equal to 90 degrees. And when our imaginary part is equal to 0, our theta will be 180 degrees. Okay? So, take note of that. Or this is 180 degrees. Okay. So, let's try example number 1. Find the 4/4 roots of z is equal to 0 plus I. So, since x natin is equal to 0, ibig sabihin, our angle is, or our complex number is pure imaginary. So, since x natin is equal to 0, therefore, yung theta natin will be equal to 90 degrees. And if we convert this into polar, so kunin natin si r, this will be the square root of 0 squared plus 1 squared. Therefore, yung r natin is equal to 1. So, sa polar, this will be, z is equal to 1 angle 90 degrees. So, alam na natin yan. Now, we are going to find the 4/4 roots of that complex number. So, dito, at k is equal to 0, which is the principal root natin. So, z raised to 1 over 4 is equal to, since we are getting yung fourth roots ng complex number natin. Okay? So, z raised to 1/4 is equal to, what is r? Sundan lang natin yung formula. So, 1 raised to 1 over 4 angle, since naka-degrees tayo, so yun yung gagamitin natin. 90 plus 360, what is k? That will be 0 over n is 1 over 4. Tama? Or I should say that should be 4. Okay, kasi 1 over n pala to. Sulat nga natin muna yung formula. Z raised to 1 over n is equal to r raised to 1 over n angle degrees plus 360k over n. So, yung n natin dito is 4. N is equal to 4. Okay, so 360 times 0 is equal to 0. So this will be equal z raised to 1 fourth is equal to, what is 1 raised to 1 fourth? So that is still equal to 1. And then angle 90 divided by 4, that is equal to, angle 90 divided by 4, that is equal to 22.5 degrees. So ito ngayon yung first root natin or your principal root natin. Okay, yan. Now, we are looking for the 4 fourth roots. Should be 4 here. 4 fourth roots. Okay, so at k is equal to 1, still n is equal to 4. So this will be equal to z raised to 1 fourth is equal to 1 raised to 1 fourth times the angle 90 plus 360 times 1 all over n, which is c, 4. So our z raised to 1 fourth, our second root, will be equal to 1 angle 112.5 degrees. So this is our second root. So at k is equal to 2, n is still equal to 4, then z raised to 1 fourth will be equal to 1 raised to 1 fourth angle 90 plus 360 times k, which is 2, all over 4. So our third root will be equal to 1 angle 202.5 degrees. So this will be our third root. And lastly, for our fourth root, at k is equal to 3, n equal to 4. So z raised to 1 fourth is equal to 1 raised to 1 fourth angle 90 plus 360 times 4 all over 4. So this will be equal to 1 angle 292.5 degrees. So these are the 4 fourth roots of the complex number z is equal to 0 plus I. Okay, so now let's try the next example. Okay. So find the 3 cube roots of x is equal to negative 8 plus 0i. Now take note, yung imaginary number natin is again 0. So ibig sabihin, y is equal to 0. Therefore, our theta will be equal to 180 degrees. So our complex number is equal to, denoted siya as x. So this will be equal to, in polar, that will be, what is r? Okay, so compute muna natin si r. This will be equal to negative 8 squared plus 0 squared. Therefore, yung r natin will be equal to 8. Ayan. So, x will be equal to 8 angle 180 degrees. So, from here, we are going to find the 3 cube roots of that complex number. So, at k is equal to 0, n is equal to, what is n? So, x raised to 1/3 kasi cube roots yung hinahanap natin. This will be equal to negative 8 plus 0i raised to 1 over 3. Or, gamitin natin yung polar form niya. Angle 180 raised to 1 over 3. So, this will be equal to 8 raised to 1/3. Tama. And then, angle 180 plus 360 times 0, since k is equal to 0, over n, which is c, 3. Again, this will cancel. This will be equal to 0. So, our z, oh, sorry. N is equal to 3. So, this will be x raised to 1 over 3 equal to, yan. So, our x raised to 1 over 3 will be equal to, what is 8 raised to 1/3? That is 2. Kasi cube root of 8 is 2. And then 180 divided by 3, that is 60 degrees. So, this is the first root or the principal root. Now, at k equal to 1 and n equal to 3, our x raised to 1/3 is equal to 8 raised to 1/3 angle 180 plus 360 times 1 all over 3. So our second root will be equal to 2 angle 180 degrees. So this is the second root. And for the third root, we have k is equal to 2 and n equal to 3. So our x raised to 1/3 is equal to 8 raised to 1/3 angle 180 plus 360 times 2 all over 3. So our third root will be equal to 2 angle 300 degrees. So these are the three cube roots of example number 2. Okay, so let's have the next example. Example number 3. Find the roots of z equal to -4 square root of 3 plus 4i. So, kunin muna natin yung value ng r natin. So, r will be equal to the square root of -4 square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared. So, our r will be equal to, computing this on your calculator, that will be equal to 8. And then for our theta naman, that is inverse tan 4 over -4 square root of 3. Okay, take note ha. Si x natin is negative, si y natin is positive. So obviously this is in the second quadrant. So yung r natin is in the second quadrant. Therefore, if you compute for this one, this will be equal to -30 and we add 180 degrees. So our theta will be 150 degrees. So the complex number in polar form will be equal to 8 angle 150 degrees. Now we are going to find the 4/4 roots of that complex number. So at k is equal to 0 and n equal to 4, so z raised to 1/4 is equal to 8 raised to 1/4 angle 150 plus 360 times 0 all over 4. Okay, so this will be equal to 0. Our first root or principal root will be equal to 1.68 angle 37.5 degrees. Okay, and then at k equal to 1 for the second root, n is equal to 4. So z raised to 1/4 is equal to 8 raised to 1/4 angle 150 plus 360 times 1 all over 4. So our second root will be equal to 1.68 angle 127.5 degrees. So this is our second root. For our third root at k is equal to 2 and n equal to 4, so z raised to 1/4 is equal to 8 raised to 1/4 angle 150 plus 360 times 2 all over 4. So this is easy. You are just plugging in yung mga values ng r and nung theta natin sa formula. Okay? So z raised to 1/4 is equal to 1.68 angle 217.5 degrees. So this is the third root. And for the last root natin, which is the fourth root, so k is equal to 3, n equal to 4. Z raised to 1/4 is equal to 8 raised to 1/4 angle 150 plus 360 times 3, which is k, all over our n, which is 4. So our z raised to 1/4 is equal to 1.68 angle 307.5 degrees. Okay? So, i-check nyo na lang kung tama yung mga sagot ko. Okay? So, you can correct that one.